or how well would they have done, how better would they have done if they had Khaled with them. But we do finally have this one underway. We don't have to wonder anymore about how they're going to do here. It's all going to unfold in the next few minutes.
Oh, we hear the angels singing. We have the series upon us here, the first semi-final of the Monaco Gaming Show here. Best of 7, like every series today. And it is Sandrock Gaming against Team Dignitas. I am very excited to get stuck into this one. And early on, it is Dignitas pressing Sandrock onto that back end. The back end, of course, that we highlighted, they don't feel as comfortable there when they are forced onto that defense. For me, it's if and when they concede the first goal, things, of course, Sandrock looked great at times, but when they looked at their worst, when we saw them at the major, it was goal after goal. They don't often concede one at once. Sometimes if the emotions are high, it can be 2 or 3, and it can sort of write off a game awfully early.
And of course, they'll be very familiar in their opponents in Dignitas, who I know you mentioned it's just going to be a complete 1v1 battle across the field. But the player, in my eyes, to keep your eye on is going to be Scrub Killer, because I know a lot of people coming into this season of RLCS are kind of writing Scrub Killer off, saying, oh, he's not got it anymore, he's not the child prodigy we once knew he could be. But he's had a real renaissance in his career now and has been leading this Dignitas team to higher and higher heights.
Yeah, and a big factor of that, in my opinion, is it's just very, very hard to stand out on a team when one of your teammates is Joreuz. He is, I think he's up there as one of the best players in the world for me right now in terms of his form. That man is one of the most scary to see on the ball if you are a defender, but Sandrock haven't had to do too much defense. They've started meeting this ball well at the midline, and TRK really fired away a shot that was blocked nice and early by apparently Jack, but there's more offense coming through. They're racing each other to the ball, last Sandrock. Dignitas happy to let them have the possession here. Is that lovely flip reset from Jack. He nearly got that one on target.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication from Sandrock Gaming. Not something we see all too often. This time around, maybe pressure situation even just slightly dawning on them, but of course, best of 7, you can fix all of that. Joreuz's shot will trickle wide. Just a quick update on the chat prediction as well. It ended 53% in favor of Dignitas. So,
wow.
Even chat, still, I don't know. I deliberately did not make a prediction. I said it'd go with Game 7. Even chat don't really know what's going to happen in this one as we pass the 2.5 minute mark.
Khaled getting the patient force onto offense there, get it into the opponent's corner, make it so they have to take plenty of time to turn over the possession and maybe fight back for the possession. Will Middle East inside it. Sandrock through Khaled, keeping up the offense so consistently, but Joreuz comes back in to play it off the backboard, and there's some breathing room for Dignitas. A whole lot of breathing room. In fact, they're allowed to walk it all the way into the orange end. Khaled takes control once again, looks for the air dribble bump. It's deep into the blue now, but nothing too dangerous breaking out.
No, it's been quite conservative, really, from both teams to start things off, although Joreuz will try and get a play downfield. No boost, will have to give that one up in the midfield. It has been very quiet on both ends of the pitch. Nothing threatening and really coming through as of yet. Just a lot of midfield play. Ahmed will pop that one in the middle of the field. TRK. Now over to Khaled. What's he got in the tank? A shot from long range. It was trickling wide, but apparently Jack able to get that one back in their own possession. Maybe a breakthrough chance here, and this time Joreuz will just send it towards the backboards.
Just to reassure some of chat's concerns, Craftman, I just want to confirm that as much as it looks like Vitality have completely imploded, K is not K-Dot. It is indeed Khaled, and they are playing from home on that ping disadvantage, as you may call it. Sandrock though still no advantage or disadvantage here in this game 1. It is still 0-0, so we head into the final minute.
I keep saying K, and I have to correct myself that it's Khaled and not actually K-Dot, but that would be insane. Imagine K-Dot going to Middle East, or anyone transferring into Middle East. It would be absolutely nuts. I mean, most up-and-coming region, we would say, best minor region to perform at the major. There's a lot of promise in the Middle Eastern players.
It certainly is, and the best part is being inducted into the RLCS is now we get to see them develop that depth as well. So many games in-house, and games that lead to something, games with a purpose, and that is what really fuels motivation. And this, we are still, I believe, just witnessing the beginning. But of course, Sandrock showed their true colors a long time ago, beginning years back. Of course, we've all watched that documentary from Salas Khan. What a documentary it was, but will they continue their impressive form here in the Monaco Gaming Show. And right now, we've had a 0-0 shutout on either end. I think we might be going to overtime here at the very start of this semi-final. And things are looking a little bit tense, Crafters.
It is tense, and I don't think anyone would have predicted at the outgo from this semi-final that game number 1 was going to go... Well, you might have said game 1 would go to overtime. I don't think you would have imagined it would be completely scoreless as we start the extra period. Joriez maybe looking for a quick finish here. We'll be putting that one wide into the corner. Dignitas kind of scrambling here. Will allow Khaled to force this ball down the right-hand side of the field. Scrubkiller picks this one up. No boost for him. He'll have to call in Joriez. No boost for him either as he goes towards the backboard, and maybe just the boost game playing a little bit of a detriment to Dignitas as they are trying to get these set-up plays, but they're running out of boost in the tank as they go down. That's a shot from TRK, and Khaled can't follow up. What has Ahmed got? He just lays off and lets Joriez play this out.
Very close from Sandrock, but of course the more they press, the more Dignitas will be willing to threaten on the counter-attack, and Jack graciously over the top of the defense just swipes it into the top corner.
And that's excellence from Jack. The patience to wait for TRK to just hand that ball to him, and then seeing there's not really anyone in net to make a challenge there. Lovely stuff from apparently Jack, and a 1-0 slogfest here in game number 1. We thought it was going to be really high-flying, high-octane, high-impact plays. But no, everyone was just happy to just let everyone play their own game and get settled into this series.
I feel like that just comes down to the mindset and the strategy of the players individually. Like, we can look at the talent and the quality of all 6 of them on the field and say the level of mechanics across the board is world class. But when you see how they play, especially with so many 1v1 backgrounds to the mass majority of those players, it does break down into so many almost like taking turn scenarios. Yes, you're trying to force a defender out, but it's so difficult to bait more than one at a time. And it takes a great play to beat 2 players or a lack of rotation back into the defense in time. And that is the difference. And a player of Jack's quality punishes very nicely.
Let's see how game number 2 will fare. Will it be more of the same and patiently waiting for the other team to make a mistake, or will one team start to turn it up to 11? We'll have to wait and see. Joriez will now bring it in. Here comes apparently Jack. Double tap opportunity. Here comes Scrub on the follow-up, and that is just class.
I mean, that's class, but I'm curious about poor Ahmad here, venting on cams in front of Khaled. That is, there's no debate about that one. That was you could say that goal was unassisted, but I think we know how it really happened.
Yeah, just unfortunate positioning around there from Ahmed. I think he was expecting Jack to make that double touch. He don't think he saw Scrub coming over the top, although Khaled now will try and just force that one through. Yeah, he wouldn't have expected Scrub to be coming over the top like that, so he was expecting the rebound off the backboard to be in his favour, but wrong place, wrong time, and it cost him the first one in the opener. And still not scored in this series so far, only 2 goals both in favour of Dignitas so far. But Sandrock, I suppose when you haven't scored in the opening game of the series, you want to come out of the gates firing on all cylinders. I mean, you saw a kickoff opportunity right at the start of the game go awry.
It is the sort of scenario that I was raising concern at before the start of the series, is when Sandrock conceded an early goal quite frequently. You know, it does collapse more often than it should. Of course, that's not all the time. In fact, they made an incredible comeback. I believe it was in Game 2 against G2 in that famous sweep in their first series at the Major. But it does seem a little bit hectic. But the more experience they get, the more calm and composed they get in terms of their nerves. And I think it's already been better than I was certainly worrying for. They are still being forced on that defense. Whether they can get a counter-attack and actually strike back, we're yet to find out. They've got plenty of time to do just that.
And like we said before, Sandrock feel a little less comfortable in defense than they do feel, pardon me, than they do feel upfield. Dignitas is going to be starting to exploit that, just hold them back and force them to play defensively. Although that's a nice touch off the backboard, and TRK will finally tie things up.
And that's a huge goal for Sandrock. I was basically asking for an equaliser, and my goodness, did they deliver. Poor, apparently, Jack's like, I could go for that. Oh, never mind. I've conceded. He's tried to keep that one out. It's close, but the shot from TRK, just a little bit too much sauce behind it.
And the I was going to try and make some kind of sauce joke. I'm just not going to go down that road.
No, it's okay, because we've just been tweeted by someone on Twitter, per Gunner BT. Absolute legend has tweeted us a picture of the non-dairy almond Magnum ice cream.
Get
They're
in,
actually
lads.
stoked that they've finally got a more vegan ice cream alternatives here in Norway. So, of course, big props to you in Norway, enjoying your Magnum and the Monaco Gaming Show. Smiley face in chat if that's you too, or if you don't have a Magnum, but you wish you did.
And the almond version as well. So nice one, mate. Nice one, Per. That's lovely stuff. Lovely stuff here from Sandrock in defense as well. And I mentioned about them being less comfortable in defense, but you got to remember, you mentioned the series with G2. It was Ahmed who had the save of the century, really, getting that pinch off the crossbar. These guys know how to play defense. It's just the consistency at which they have to play it is not quite there. Scrub will get this one through.
Name a more iconic duo, saying a team knows how to play defense as they concede. Two of them on the goal line. Not quite enough. Ahmed unable to stop Scrub's shot. It was straight down the middle, but from close proximity, restores the lead for Dignitas, and it's still Dignitas in the driver's seat.
And maybe even taking a more controlling lead there if that one was a bit more on target from apparently Jack. But now with that goal advantage yet again, all the pressure now falls to Sandrock Gaming. Trying to create opportunities downfield, but Dignitas have been working in the midfield so well. Look at this, all three men for Sandrock in the middle of the net. A very vulnerable place for them to be. Jorias with three touches off the backboard. Absolutely insane. Scrub might have to double tap here. He gets a triple, and I was going to say K-Dub Khaled gets the save. You're confusing me with your name, pal, but that was exquisite offense from Dignitas. Just couldn't finish it up, and Jack almost got the bump. Scrub with the second shot not to be found.
Huge that Sandrock have managed to hold on there. Keep the deficit at just one into the final minute here of game two. It felt like Dignitas were just queuing up to take shots at the Sandrock net there, but none of them quite finding the back of it. But a loose touch from Khaled could invite them in. Does get the backboard clear away, does his teammate though. Scrub found in the midfield. Khaled required on the defense, and again, we'll find Ahmed who sends it downfield, but they're poking and hoping when it comes to the Dignitas defense, and Dignitas really starting to find their footing ever since going 3-0 down, of course, in their first series of the day. Best of 7 reverse sweeping, and frankly, they haven't looked back since.
It was a phenomenal performance from Dignitas to bounce back in that one against for fun smiley face. You gotta say, it was a smiley face really just falling off a bit of a cliff, and Dignitas taking full advantage of that. Let's see what Sandrock have in the last 5 seconds. They won't have any help from Jorias as he puts it straight into Khaled's way. Oh, that's a great carry, but no one was there to follow up from Sandrock Gaming. Khaled will just put it into the ground himself, and 2-0 already in favor of Dignitas.
I mean, it feels a little bit almost worrying for Sandrock. Like, they're putting in a strong performance. They're absolutely competitive. Both games have been decided by just the one goal, and they got themselves back into it there, but it doesn't really feel like Dignitas have been rocked. They do feel very much in control, and Sandrock, they're not really getting many opportunities to be proactive. They're often having to be reactive to what Dignitas are doing. They're sort of showing the difference in class and quality, which, considering they placed exactly the same at the major, you may not have expected. But, of course, the good thing for Sandrock, they are not on match point. This is a best of 7. There's plenty of time to change that.
Yeah, and I think Sandrock work better when they, like you said, when they control the pace of the game and when they can bend their opponents to their will. Like you said, having to play this reactive style of Rocket League is not in their nature, and it's really pulling them backwards right now. Need a fast opening to this third game of the semi-final, I would imagine. Don't want to go 1-0 down in the blink of an eye. Jack will put a threatening ball there, but it was just a little bit too high for anyone to follow up from Dignitas. But again, it's just Dignitas holding this ball in the orange half of the field. Finally, Khaled gets a clear down to, I believe that was TRK, it was. Ahmed can't follow this one up. Oh, it had to be on target there, Tylacto.
Yeah, it's a really tough shot, but a shot that you'd expect to be made from a player the quality of TRK, and you can see the difference. Scrub Killer also with a half chance. That net wasn't even empty, and he absolutely buried it. What a pass from Jack as well.
Obviously, Jack was trying to finish it himself, but even the touch he got into the crossbar, it pulled two Sandrock defenders away, and Scrub with the finish right there. There's nothing the Sandrock defense could have done about that one. And again, they concede the opening goal to Sandrock. And you talked about it, Tylacto, how they feel the pressure when they are that 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, well, they're playing with, you would imagine they would be playing with a, I don't want to say a desperate mentality, but for lack of a better phrase, that's what I'm going to go with. Ahmed, oh, nothing desperate about that, but Jorias will shut it down.
Yeah, in my opinion, that they really do struggle when conceding the first goal, but they're often proving me wrong. It's fair play, they are putting up the offense here. I do want to see them mount this comeback. It's just tough. You have to, the dialect and the sort of discussion we have to feel like is, of course, Sandrock's incredible wins at the major all came against non-EU teams. Do EU teams have them figured out? Because, of course, they're much closer to home. They've played far more often. Dignitas, they do look like they've figured out Sandrock, but they're going to have to keep up and keep up those notes if they're going to hang on a minute. Okay, I thought Jack was about to absolutely bury a stonker of a double touch, but it was not to be, and the counter-attack again potentially on, but nipped in the bud so early by Dignitas.
And ricocheted round the Sandrock defense there, and Ahmed will... Every touch that Sandrock get in defense, it's just been met by anyone from Dignitas. Just holding them back, making them have that extra thought of going downfield. Lovely pass from Ahmed, finds TRK, buries it.
Look at that. Feels like I'm playing pinball back in 2000. This is incredible. The pass was so precise. Scrub completely out of position in order to terms of blocking. He had to try and free flip, and frankly, he wasn't even close. Sandrock playing it around the Dignitas defense with conviction. And that's another huge equalizer. Can they convert it into a game, though?
That's the Sandrock we wanted to see in offense. Let's see if they can back it up, or otherwise Scrub might be able to find a goal himself. TRK now. Just waiting for that pass out from Ahmed. What didn't eventually come to fruition. And again, just Dignitas holding Sandrock back. They're so pressure heavier. Dignitas, we've seen how that's worked in their favor so often. Excellent save by Jack off of a long range shot of TRK. If that went in for Sandrock, that might have been turning the tides.
TRK is really starting to heat up here. You see another double touch around the corner,
Lovely.
Pops it past one, gets a dunk, past two. He's causing a little bit of havoc, and Dignitas don't seem to like it, but of course, they can potentially find another gear. As I say, that Scrub completely does whiff the ball. Maybe they won't. Once again, Sandrock waiting on that defensive touch, but it's going to be hard to be able to punish Jorius, who gets multiple in a row, forces them back to their own half.
Now Ahmed, what can he do from his own half? Half a tank of boost, we won't be able to do much with that. But again, this Dignitas rotation is just so punishing for Sandrock trying to move downfield. They're winning their 50s, but that was Jack. I believe that was Scrub as well at the back line. Not really sure what to do with themselves, but they do finally make the decision and block out the shot that was inevitably going to be coming their way. Rebound off the backboard for Ahmed is not going to be there. Khaled with the follow up, and now Ahmed with the second shot will be saved away by Scrubkiller, but this is so much better from Sandrock in offense. It's just consistent pressure offense. That is what the Saudis do best.
They're really trying to close that vice grip on the Dignitas back end, but Jackie comes straight back out, fires it long into the Sandrock corner, but it's controlled well by TRK. Can he continue to be a nuisance here? He's let that one go for Ahmed. He plays a slow 50 in the corner. Little amount to boost and making the difference here on the defense for Sandrock. As long as they can keep this ball moving from side to side and not stall in the middle of the pitch with no loose touches like this, as long as they get the dunk there. And Ahmed does just that, or else they could be dangerous. But now they move down to the other end. It's Dig who are the ones who could be nervous.
Sandrock really needs to get this going north and south rather than east and west. Force Dignitas back into their own half. Look how high Scrub is playing there. So much confidence from him, knowing that the ball was going to drop his way. If it was pinched out to the other side, Sandrock could have had an easy counter attack. You're here in the last 10 seconds now. It's Dignitas who have to play defense. Jack will send it high. Jorias will punt it long. Ahmed is there to, or excuse me, TRK was there to keep it dangerous. Oh, this from Khaled. Won't find the net this time around. TRK is just going to drop this to the floor, and our second overtime of the series.
And will this be a huge turning point of this series? It feels like it could be either way here in Game 3 overtime of the first semi-final here at the Monaco Gaming Show. Dignitas looking to move to match point. Sandrock looking to start bringing things back and bring it all the way downfield. Will TRK nearly ratios it completely past Jack, but a good challenge from him forces it above the Dignitas crossbar as it pings across the pitch. Scrub will be up to it first. Beats his man and plays it down the left as Jack looks to press and chase. TRK having to rush his touch a little, but he does a good job of playing that one across.
Let's see how Dignitas fare when they have to play consistent defense. Because it's been them who've been forcing Sandrock Gaming to play the defense. It's Jack with an excellent save. The follow-up by Khaled. That was another save by apparently Jack. Won't be registered, however, although it might have been a game-saving touch. Here comes Ahmed right over the top. Jorias just wastes so much time here. He knows he was pretty much the only one back here. He had to let Jack and Scrub recover themselves. And now right back downfield, punted into the midfield by Sandrock. TRK will be the one to pick that one up, but no follow-up ball. Allows Scrub through here. Jack with the follow-up, nothing doing. And Dignitas maybe just getting a little bit desperate here as they just try and find a way through this defense. No, Scrub tried to go over the top.
But those emotions do go both ways. Sandrock awfully close there. Felt like they could just taste that game win, but Jack plucking the ball back. That thing was more than half the way across the Dignitas goal line. Sandrock denied their winner for now. Will they be able to find it, or will they get ahead of themselves? Jorias, he's got the winner, and what a winner it is!
That is classy from Jorias. What a read from him off of TRK's touch. It was a wayward touch off the backboard from the young Saudi. And Jorias does so well to read where that's going. 3-0 Dignitas, and I said this one might be going to Game 7. I'm kind of eating my words at this point, Tylacto, because Dignitas, they have Sandrock's number, and they're really not going to be giving up anything, I imagine, here in Game 4.
That does feel like a significant overtime, but Dignitas are a team with some of the best content in Rocket League. They are a team that loves content. We saw them, have to reverse sweep in their quarterfinal matchup. Maybe they're going to get reverse swept, Is that more content? I mean, it's probably not worth losing going up to the grand finals. Maybe they prevent the reverse sweep. I don't know if that's as clickbaity on a thumbnail, and that's what it matters, Apparently he's got to keep that grind up.
We beat a top 8 team in the world? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point? Or
€20,000 prize pool. It's the Monaco Gaming Show we're talking about.
Big red arrow on just pointing to Scrub Killer.
Don't forget that big red arrow.
Yeah, of course.
Head up.
That's what you need.
Close.
Man, but yeah, this Dignitas squad they've been baiting Sandrock every stage of the way. Every time you feel that Sandrock have a little bit of momentum back on their side, no, Dignitas is right there to shut everything down. They're playing Stonewall Rocket League right now. And for me, I wouldn't say there's anyone who's been standing out in Dignitas for me so far. It's been all 3 players really playing their best game and forcing Sandrock into the position that they're in.
I do feel like the defense from apparently Jack is effectively what won that overtime, at least in the clutchest of moments, as much as that's another dangerous shot. And we can say Jorius' winner was incredibly impressive, but for him, he probably didn't even find it that impressive. That's the sort of double touch that he does in his sleep when he's on the form, the likes he has been these recent months. But whether he can keep it out to close out this series is the question at hand right now. Sandrock having to do a lot of fetching on the defense, and without targets upfield, they're able to be met in the midfield and close down early. Scrub with the flip reset looked for a second, and he nearly got it. Dignitas still looking dominant.
Ahmed now taking this out of the back line. Jorias is there to meet, and again, just Dignitas rotating through this midfield, keeping their pressure going. It's not one shot and rotate out, it's multiple. It's 3, 4, 5 shots at a time from Dignitas. Might not all be on target, but at least gives Sandrock a lot to think about. Here comes Jack now. Can't get it through the midfield this time, and now Sandrock tries to turn things back in their favour. A wayward passing play will go back in Dignitas' favour. Jack tried to power that one through. And again, it's not been the high-flying series that we've really expected Tylacto. It's been a real defensive struggle from both teams. And it's been Dignitas just grinding out these wins.
It's been incredibly strategic. The big thing for me is that this is the 4th attempt that Sandrock have at scoring the first goal in one of these games and forcing Dig to respond, actually being in the driver's seat for once, but this 4th chance could be their last if they don't manage to convert on it. And right now the defense is looking a little bit shaky. Do commit. They do force it into the corner, but you see how patient and how little boost Dignitas are just sort of poking them with, keeping it efficient, and any mistake could be fatal for the Middle Easterns here. As I say that, of course, Dig do fall back all the way to their own end. And the pinch will force them back once again. Loose touch from Jory. Scrub is going to try and chase it. He gets the demo, not the ball. A little bit messy right now. Can Sandrock find something in that mess, though?
It really is all over the place. And when chaos is prevalent, that's when you would expect a team like Sandrock to just take control and start to bring the tone of things down and into their favor, or at least make sure that they're the ones controlling how this game is going forward. It's still Dignitas just keeping cooler heads right now. And you can see, maybe, I know they're match point down, they've got to win 4 in a row without dropping any. But it's
dangerous
looking a little bit panic from Sandrock, but Khaled will keep his cool and get the first.
Huge here. Jory was such a difficult spot. He didn't realize he actually had a little bit more time than he thought, and it didn't matter. That meant that Khaled had all the time to pick his spot, and he slams it top shelf, and that is the first lead of the series for Sandrock Gaming. What does that mean? How much can they build off of this? Are Dignitas believers shaking? Probably not, frankly, but all of these games have been decided by just 1 goal so far, and for the first time, the European side has to come back. Wow, that took so long, didn't it, Craftman? It took them all of, what, 20 seconds?
Not even that. I think it was about maybe 15, 20 seconds, but in the blink of an eye, Dignitas tied things up. You talked a lot about Sandrock trying to get that lead initially, but once you've got that lead, you've got to hold on to it for longer than that. Can't be giving up the tie game as quickly as you've taken your first lead in this series. Yeah.
I feel like as much as Sandrock's defense was reasonably solid there, the pass was it was outrageous. Quite how Dignitas carved that opportunity out of nothing. The question is whether Sandrock can stay at the drawing board and create something else. If they could get themselves a lead this late in this game 4, it could be the lead that keeps them into the series. Dunks like that can keep them on offense. Scrub is going to be beat on the back line. It's down off the backboard and awkward here, and you see a little bit panicky on the defense. Are Dignitas here? It's a tense situation, and maybe Sandrock can prevail, but Khaled with little to aim at just has to sort of fire that one goal bound and just see what happens next.
Can I just point out something funny before the last 20 seconds? When Khaled scored, everyone in the chat was like, yeah, K-Dub, you scored. Nice one, pal. 15 seconds, I mean, Rostamania, it's running wild right now. Let's see how wild the defense can run for Sandrock Gaming, because they need to play as much defense as they possibly can. TRK with a great squishy in and out save. Khaled will have another, and that might have just saved their bacon. Overtime for the 3rd game in this series so far. 3 out of the 4 games going to extra innings. Let's see if Dignitas can pitch a shutout.
Oh, that's a lovely pass, though. Look at that for a winning goal off the kickoff. Yoryu's faking out the shot. Ground pinch pass, and it may all be from 1 goal a game, but Dignitas with the domination in terms of the final scoreline. It is 4-0, and as hard as Sandrock fought each and every game, just wasn't quite enough.
No, it really wasn't, and I don't know if it's because, you know, obviously the Christmas break or the winter break coming up for all of these players that played a lot of Rocket League over the past couple of months throughout the fall split. But Dignitas just seem on, like I said before, they just seem on a different plane of existence right now. They are playing so out of their minds. They're so team orientated, and I know we talk about the 1v1's ability of the Dignitas players, but when these guys come together as a team, there's seemingly no stopping them whatsoever. And Sandrock just couldn't find that, as you said earlier, the special sauce to beat them.
Yeah. It all looks to that sort of quarterfinal matchup when they played Semper in the major, and Semper got them in 7. What a performance that was from them. And it's pretty much the only series in recent times where Dignitas have looked as shaky as they did then, but shaky is not how they look today. That 4-0 in the semi-finals, guaranteeing them a spot in that grand finals. Of course, 10,000 euros just to the winning team. But who will play them there, Craftman? Of course, our next series, our semi-final, lined up between Queso and Liquid. We'll set that one up. We'll head to a break, and we'll be right on back.
Ce que tu vois là, c'est Nice Cactus. C'est la plateforme e-sport tout en un allant du simple entraînement jusqu'au sponsoring. La plateforme s'est mise à jour récemment pour offrir plus de clarté et de fonctionnalités aux joueurs. Tu peux par exemple découvrir des entraînements sur 4 jeux majeurs, mais aussi suivre ta progression grâce à leur outil de tracking, la Nice Cactus 360 App. En parlant de progression, il ne faut pas oublier que participer à des tournois te permet d'affronter des joueurs de tout niveau et de te confronter à de nouveaux défis. Et ça tombe bien, puisque Nice Cactus te propose des tournois tous les jours sur plusieurs jeux. Et en plus de te permettre de progresser, la plateforme te permet de remporter des cash prizes et tout ça gratuitement. Alors n'attends plus et rejoins-nous sur Nice Cactus.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Monaco Gaming Show. We just saw Dignitas sweep out Sandrock. Sandrock, they may be the kings of the Middle East Tilacto, but they could not find the crown this time. Dignitas trying to crown themselves champions of this tournament. We'll see them in the grand final. But joining us to discuss that previous series and, of course, the next one, we've got Swaces and Spooks. Let's start with the handsome man just below me, Swaces. What did you make of that one? How did you feel? I thought that was going to be much closer than it ended up being.
Well, I would say that you'd be right, but then at the same time, Sandrock Gaming, come on, we all know what they have to go through. The ping advantage and all sorts, that's going to have a huge effect. And considering these two teams in a major, when they were on the same ping, finishing the same spot in that top 8 place, you kind of got to give the advantage over to Dignitas because of that ping issue. So realistically, I kind of expected it to go quite heavily in favour of Dignitas. Sandrock, they did well, but not quite good enough to take down Dignitas.
And Spooks, we saw just Dignitas. It was maybe a deviation from what we kind of expect them to do, as in just go full out attack the entire time, but they were able to adapt their play style and really just play a more defensive orientated game, and that's really what stopped Sandrock in their tracks.
I think Dignitas really wanted to build up from the behind, from the back, and then move on into that and transition really well. And I think one thing that may be a tiny bit obvious to show that is that every single game went to a 1-goal difference, and we had 3 overtimes in it. Yes, they were short, but still 3 overtimes shows how good both these teams actually were and how close it really, really was.
Yeah, super close the entire way. Tilacto, I'm just going to let you have the last word on this series before we get into what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, I want to echo the sentiments of Spooks, really. I mean, I had my Magnum at the start of what could have been a marathon of a series. Of course, it didn't end up being necessary. It was over relatively quickly, and each game on an individual basis, incredibly close. Of course, Sandrock really putting up a fight, but it's not a coincidence when all of the fine margins end up being edged out by Dignitas, who came out on top 4-0. And I think when you rewatch that series, you can't really argue with it.
Do you think on a different day we'd have a different result?
Maybe 1 or 2 games, but if the teams are playing the way they were, Dignitas just looked a little bit of a level above. We can wonder and hope to see what it would have been like with no ping difference, but those are just questions that we can't really ask because we can't really answer them.
Yeah, it's always going to be the big question with the not just Sandrock but all of the Middle East teams that we see coming across to play in the European region in the tournaments over here. But obviously Sandrock being the most famous out of the lot of them. But we'll see how things go for Sandrock going forward, and of course Dignitas will see them in our grand final. But the question is now, who is going to join them? As you see our bracket here, Dignitas, that big 4-0. another team who got a 4-0. The only other 4-0 today was Queso over Endpoint. Sad. At least from my perspective, it's going to be Queso versus Liquid next. And to be quite honest, Spooks, I was expecting this to be the other way around. Maybe. Obviously, I was obviously rooting for Endpoint to get to this stage, but Liquid and Vitality, in my opinion, really could have gone either way, at least coming into the day. But Liquid have really earned their spots here, Spooks.
And I think if you look at that from a distance, anyone would agree with you, Crafters. Anyone would say, oh, yes, that can go anyway. That's going to be incredibly close. But with the way Team Liquid was playing, with the way Eita was feeling, with the way Oski was feeling, with the way Acronic was feeling, you could see that they were completely all zoned in, all playing really well together. That is such a dangerous force. And especially, we've seen it on Endpoint during the regionals, how important a good vibe with a team can be.
And we see Queso playing a lot. The times that I've seen them play throughout, at least playing against Endpoint, is throughout the regional competitions in RLCS. I see them. They're just an annoying team to play against. For lack of a better phrasing, you can see the teams get really frustrated when Queso is firing on all cylinders. Swaces, they can just really beat you to every single punch everywhere in the field.
That's the one thing that they're really good at, just suffocating their opponent, because they have, for some reason, I don't know why they're so collectively just an offensive powerhouse. It's just because, they have the mechanics on their side. They can read everybody's touches, and that's probably because they trust in each other's mechanics as well. So as soon as they make that one read, no matter if they know that their teammate is going to be losing the ball, because of the way that they're manipulating it and making sure that their car is positioned in a way that they can force the ball in a certain direction, they allow their teammates to be able to read that, position themselves effectively to be able to take upon that next challenge, which is why they're so annoying to play against, because you can never get out of your own half.
One of the things that we were kind of talking about throughout the quarterfinal stages as well for both these teams, Tylacto, is it was their opponents. Did Queso and Liquid get here because they were playing well, or was it because Endpoint and Vitality were playing poorly?
Yeah, it's interesting to think about the team dynamics and why the semi-final becomes such a toss-up, in my opinion. Like, especially, it's exaggerated so when you look at that Vitality-Liquid matchup. Like, yes, on paper you'd say maybe Vitality, the better, the more experienced, the stronger team. But when you see it as the mentality is coming in, this is Liquid, this tournament is huge for them in order to prove themselves not just as players but as a team. It means a whole lot, whereas Vitality, sure, they want to win the Monaco Gaming Show, but they're still under the blues of the performance at the major. And it's similar to the sense of Endpoint. Not that Endpoint had a performance to be disappointed of course not. But Queso, they're a team that is still proving themselves, trying to get themselves into that top of Europe conversation. This is huge for them. And the fact that now it's Team Queso, Team Liquid, both teams you could sort of say, like hot shots coming in form, little to lose. I think we're going to see some incredible Rocket League in the semi-final.
I don't know about Endpoint not being disappointed in a 4-0 sweep against them. That's
it's a top 8 of the major compared to what happened to Vitality.
Oh, so are you talking about the major? I thought you were talking about today.
Yeah.
Against Queso, yeah. Today was disappointing. The major, not so much, but today was not their best performance. But let's get some predictions before we get into this one. Let's go around the horn. We'll start just below me with Swaces. Give me your prediction for this. Then we'll go for Spooks and Tylacto. What's your prediction for this? Best of 7 in the semi-final, Swaces.
Well, I think I'm going to go against what chat are thinking. Chat at the moment, they're 60-40 in favour of Team Liquid. But I reckon that annoying start from Queso could start to change the sort of game and really put the pressure on Liquid in this one. So Queso's my pick.
Aww. I thought we were going to be agreeing on something for once. No.
Come on, absolutely
Team
not.
Liquid,
No chance.
all the way. I've chosen them against Vitality. I was correct. That was already amazing. Now I'm going to pick them again. I think they're going to go all the way to the finals and play against Dignitas. How that's going to go, that's something else. But I'm picking Team Liquid.
And Tylacto, what's your prediction?
I mean, Liquid are a team that look really, really exciting. That you would not want to play against them. All three of the players, such high ceilings, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more and more of them, especially over the years to come. But Queso are a team that I think are also on the up. I have no reason to doubt them, especially after their performance earlier. I'll go 4-2 Queso.
I'm going to go with Liquid on this one. Split the desk. Why not? I'm with you, Spooks. Let's go. I think the way that Oski and Ato were playing earlier was just absolutely incredible. But let's get out of here, Tylactos. Swaces and Spooks, it's all yours.
Ooh, Spooks. Are you ready for this one? As I said, right, with the Team Liquid having a 60-40 ratio against Queso, the chat has actually turned the tide. It is now 60-40 in favour of Queso. So it looks like I'm on the side of chat now. Thank you very much, Spooks.
Of course, they all listen to you and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's Swacer guy. He knows what he's talking about." Secretly, they don't know that none of us know what we're talking about. We're all just guessing what we're doing here. We have no idea why we're here. We're just here to enjoy some good Rocket League.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're here to enjoy Rocket League, but you know, all we know about it is that it is balls, cars, and going fast, right? I mean, everyone says it. That's the only way it can work, surely. But either way, the masters at doing this are Team Queso. Of any team whatsoever, which I would turn towards, where I want a team to be playing fast, to be relentless on the attack, use the mechanics that they have, especially with a player like Joyo, who used to be part of the Pulse clan, might I say, as well, which proves what sort of level he can bring onto the field. But as well, what do you think of the players around him? I know you like one player in particular.
I've talked about him before. Fatira is such an incredible player. Honestly, one of the best that is quote-unquote up and coming, because he's already at the highest level. He's already made RLCS. Then you have, of course, Rise, who is rising to the top almost every single time you see him. It's such an incredible team. I hope they stay together for a while, because as a team together, they have so much just potential. And we're going to see how much potential they are capable of bringing out in this game, because there's another team with a lot of potential. Team Liquid. I've said it before, some people laughed at it. I said combined age. Of course, it's the average age of 15 on that team. Two of them are 14. Same on Team Queso though. They're all so incredibly young. It's insane to think about.
It is absolutely mental to know that. These players are all still in school, yet they're at the top of Rocket League. A Chronic, twisting and turning, faking his way through, finds the first for Liquid.
Flip resets all the way down back to the ground and gets the tap in right on there. The post did not help Team Queso, and it is indeed Team Liquid just opening us up. Nice, sweet, and exactly how I predicted it. It's all in the brains, all the big brain moments. You see it right here.
Well, you were saying earlier that we have no idea what we're talking about, so I'm just going to go with that as pure luck, the fact that you've gone for that. That's why we split the desk, because half of us, you know, we don't know where to go, so we like to make it exciting and just sort of think, right, we don't know who's going to win this, who's the better players, not a clue whatsoever. But you were saying about these young players on Team Liquid, Atao and Oski, the two. We saw Oski in the qualifiers coming into this main event, where he seemed to be the star man, and now Ato has stepped in for Roniki as well. He seems to be performing fantastically, especially taking down a team like Renault Vitality. Do you think this could be the start to a new dynasty in Rocket League when they're allowed to play in RCS?
Dynasty is a tough word, because with Dynasty, I think of things like Dignitas. That type of Dynasty where they are controlling and winning everything, but passes like these. This team is just working together so nicely.
Everything seems to be going in their favour at this point in time. Look at that for a 1-2. Atao just getting the smallest little slither of a touch on the ball to just increase the pace on it, and Oski just chasing it down after making the initial play. It's a lovely bit of Team Liquid. Fantastic style as well that they are providing on the field at this point in time. Joyo, oh my word, the breezy flick. Nearly absolutely sending that ball all the way into the net. Though it is going to be passed into midfield. A bit awkward for Joy Akami though. Still makes his play in it on the backboard now. It is a Chronic, sent it long downfield. Quickly intercepted though, back in front of the Team Liquid net. Demo as well coming through. Big chance to shoot. Oh, Atao with the pre-jump will make the save.
That's Jojo taking that control, bringing it back into the midfield, tries to get it past the second, but the ball just drops on down. And we saw it before Atao getting the save. He was already someone you've called out a lot of times before. And what an opportunity this must be for the 14-year-old to showcase yourself to the world. Like, hey, February, I'm gonna be 15, I'm gonna be allowed to play. Look at me go right now, see what I am capable of, because what better place to do it than on this stage?
It's a place where you can already strike fear into your opposition's hearts. But look at this, Team Queso, they're not backing down. They know they still have a chance in this. They've had the majority of the pressure after the 2 goals from Liquid did go through. Both of them really being counterattacks as well. Queso having a lot of control on the attack, but whenever the ball does get sent down quickly to the opposite side, when they have to defend, they don't seem to be at the best. Oh no! Rise gets the save on his own teammate's shot. He tried to clear open the net, but it seemed to backfire.
I saw that demo coming. I was like, oh, that's such a rude thing to do. But then he accidentally saved that ball as well, and it's just painful to look at because we've been there. We've done something similar where we think we have a good play going, and then we accidentally save the shot.
Maybe.
it has happened to us beforehand, but it's fine. You can still move on. 2 goals, it can happen. 1 minute 30 left. This ball goes a bit too high. It's Jojo with the control, taking a bit more control, looking to get it all the way, but no one is really biting. Patience coming out from Team Liquid to just not go at all, and this shot is dangerous as well.
It's smart, isn't it, from Liquid when you see that sort of play? You understand how their mentality is towards the game, what they know the opposition is going to bring to the table. Because Queso, although they're easy to see what their game plan is going to be coming into it, it's difficult to predict how they're going to approach it as well. Because at any moment in time, they could pull off any mechanic, no matter how difficult it is. We saw Joe earlier with a breezy, which almost went flying in to the top of the net. Unfortunately, did go above the crossbar, but that's risky from Vatira. Controlling it down in front of his net, did play for the 50, but in those sort of positions, it's a little bit scary to watch.
And you were talking about maybe the dynasty type of things. I don't think it's going to be a dynasty, but what I do see coming is both of these teams being so young, and both of these teams have a similarity among each other. It's the one's capability. What you see in Dignitas, you see in both these teams as well, where they're all capable of 1v3ing. Every single one of the players on this field can fully take control, get that ball all across the field and score, just like Oski is doing right here.
There you go. Joy Akami, big mistake, tried to get the pinch downfield, instead just sends it right back to his own net. Oski predicting that rise once again was just going to bring it to the ground. Liquid's so smart to whatever Queso have planned, just in the moment, at the time, reading it so fantastically. Oski, also one of those young players that we were talking about earlier on, proving his worth to Team Liquid, especially now with a player like a Chronic on their pocket as well. Already proven in the RCS, previously playing for BS Plus competition. Can they make it 4? No, it's saved away. It wouldn't have mattered too much anyway here, Spooks, because Team Queso are falling at the hands of Team Liquid.
A wonderful start for Team Liquid, and I cannot express this enough, but am I the only one who finds this weird to look at Oski and be like, oh yeah, he's still a youngster, he's still an up-and-comer? Like, yes, he's 14, but I've seen him everywhere. You can see him on any tournament. You can see him everywhere he's allowed. He has been there and he has done that.
Yeah, I mean, that just proves how much effort they're putting in to actually go ahead and just make a name for themselves, because that's how you get these opportunities. You're never going to get them by just sitting around and waiting for someone to come and approach you. It's all about you making the moves, showing what you've got, and then the organizations will approach you. Then your top players will also say hello and see if you want a team, which is exactly what Team Liquid have done for Oski and Atao. For Team Queso as well, a bunch of players who are still fairly new to be playing together. Rise, someone who had a lot of misfortune earlier on in his career, and now has seemed to be a bit more comfortable with this Team Queso side, already defending they are. Vatira, though, under control, puts the ball into the center, Rise up for this quickly. Is taken away from Oski, 0 boost in attack, time and space on the ball. One of the players jumping in, Joy Kami, Oski beats out 2! Oski simply handing it off to Atao. It's a wonderful play.
If these two don't team up after when they're allowed to play, I'm gonna be almost disappointed at this moment. They are finding each other on every single opportunity. Oh, they're trying to make room for each other. One bumps and the other gets a goal. Oh, they're looking for a pass. They can find each other out of nowhere. It's just non-stop them two, and the Chronic must be feeling wonderful right now because he can just slot in right where he needs to be and does whatever he's expected of himself.
Exactly, and the Chronic being such a mechanical player as well. He's also one of the sides that you were saying about where they have this ability to be able to take anyone on and beat them. And whatever way it's going to be, ground, in the air, mechanics, whatever it is, they seem to be able to do it so proficiently and so scarily, to be honest, for their opposition. That Team Queso, they are really struggling to seem to get out. That's what the consistency is all about, though. You can't just be proficient in attack. You have to make sure that you're solid at the back, able to read your opposition, which quite simply right now, Team Liquid are annihilating them at.
I think I've cracked the code. I think I know why Team Liquid, and especially Oski and Eita, are finding each other so easily.
Vatira?
The reason they are finding each other so easily is because they're 1 day away from each other's birthdays.
Wow.
One is February the 22nd, the other is February the 23rd.
Woohoo! They just already have that synergy, don't they?
It's just a 1-2 go away, because like, it's one's birthday, it's now the other's birthday, boom, they're both allowed to play RLCS now.
Bang.
Simple as that.
It's quite nice as well that they are close together because of that reason, but also bringing themselves together through Rocket League. Talking about these players, Eita standing along downfield, trying to find a Chronic, 50 on the line. Joy can be able to make the save. Oski now looking to try and recover and get onto this. Look at the speed that he has in the recovery as well, able to control the ball as well. The Chronic coming off the ceiling, able to tap that down, will be Eita. Gets another 50, a Chronic turning aggressively towards this, gets the 50 with a Vatira. Doesn't really go in his favor. Will be Eita. Sandrock to the right-hand side, looking for the double, does find it, puts it back in front of his own net. A Chronic once again taking this downfield, looks to try and beat out Rise. Rise though staying strong and holding his little ground. Also getting it down into the middle as well. It's going to be a little bit awkward for Oski, but he does get that one clear.
Oski can't get to that ball, but luckily for him, Eita is behind him. But Jojo can't get his own touch. That's once again Team Liquid moving on to the offense. Oski read that perfectly. Can he get one more touch into the middle? He won't, but he will at least get a bump of Atira, slowing it down Team Queso. But not enough. They are still able to transition away, but not quick enough. It's once again Team Liquid moving on to the offense. Here again, a Chronic in a good spot. Does he have the boost? No, but can he get to it? Almost a wave dash. Eita with the shot getting saved as well. And now it's up for Oski. Looking to get it himself. Doesn't get the flip reset. And that means this offensive push from Team Liquid will die down.
My word. This Liquid side is ridiculous. They're all showing mentality just far above what they should already be having at this point in time. The mechanics, the speed of thinking that they have is just a level above what Queso are showing us right now. Anything that they do, they have the idea in their mind, almost ready to go. It's almost like if you've seen the film Limitless. They've taken one of those pills to make sure that they're running at their absolute best in every single scenario. Their IQ is off the scales right now. Look at that from Oski again. Fantastic control to bring it past the Team Queso defender. And now they're on the attack though, Team Queso. Joyo bringing around the side, trying to get that touch, but once again, Oski simply just touches that one away.
Oski trying to get the block there on Vatira, who gets blocked by Eita eventually. Does he have the boost? No, leaves it alone for a Chronic. Can't get another touch himself. That's Jojo looking for the control, trying to get it away. But you see how dangerous Team Liquid is that almost every single ball that they jump for, there is a defender just jumping for it right away. They are trying to pre-jump save a lot of these shots, as this time around a Chronic gets the save onto the side, gets another one, falling down from the backboard, and it's still not done. But Vatira, the pass not connecting and allowing Team Liquid to move out of the way once again.
My word. Liquid are simply looking unstoppable. We've been waiting for them to finally turn up to an event, and Monaco Gaming Show seems to be the one that they have. Maybe Vatira can put a shot in there, it's off the post, another one comes through, Rise, late on in this game too, will tie us up.
3 people tried to read that bounce, and the only one who succeeded in it was Rise, making it the 1-1, an important one as well, because I don't think anyone wants to go 2-0 down in this series against a team like Team Liquid, because a team that just vibes so well is going to be really hard to push over once again. You've seen it against Team Vitality. They couldn't do it. That's up for Team Queso. They are still in the orange half. Oski dropping it back down, letting it be dropped down, and we have overtime.
Made the right move really there as well. Ball pressuring his own net. He wanted to just get that down, set it, reset the field to make sure they're back to a 50-50 position. Maybe Eita here could get a shot on net. He's spotted by Joyo. Joyo once again taking it down on this left-hand side. A Chronic well positioned to take control. Vatira now trying to make his next challenge. His head just goes for the demolition. Brilliantly played. That is also something which is quite smart to do, knowing that your opposition has full control of the ball you take an advantage of that, they're going to just want to pop the ball over you. Instead, just take the car out of the play, simply allow your teammate to follow on through, just clean up the mess, take the ball, and try and go downfield, such as Rise is doing there, but it's straight away blocked.
Jojo looking to take a bit of control, takes it past to Vatira, has an opportunity, but gets blocked right away by Oski. Now it's Eitao in the defense. Can he get a good touch on this? Well, luckily for him, none of Team Queso was in a good position to push the offense. Shots there, but saved by a Chronic. It's not done just yet. Vatira tried it himself. Now it's up for Rise. Gets another touch, but it's not strong enough to get past Oski. This is a good offensive push so far from Team Queso, but Jojo cannot get past the defense. The defense is just holding on strong, Swazes.
But for how much longer is the question. Rises there to the backboard. Will anyone follow up on it? No, they won't be there in time. Over Eitao, trying to instigate the counter-attack. Over to the corner, Joakami dunked away. A Chronic, good shooting chance. Does get the shot, but Rise does read it. Rise again intercepted by Oski to the midfield. Vatira, time and a ball, does take control of it. Eitao hunting for the demo. It's a Chronic, last man back. Vatira chance to shoot. Decides to go to the backboard. Another shot coming through. And Rise will be the one to finish it off. We're tied up in the series.
The crossbar denied him once. The post denied them once. And eventually Rise has a wide open net to shoot at. And Oski still trying his best to get that from the backside. Just barely missing out. What a wonderful series for Team Queso to get back in the last 10 seconds. Get themselves tied up and winning that in overtime.
Yeah, Team Liquid, they just seemed to falter at the end a little bit there. Maybe the pressure was getting into them a little bit, especially as they threw away that 1-0 lead. It was all credit, though, to Team Queso. They did it by constantly playing their style. They're staying to it and sticking to what they know best, which is that relentless offense, just pressuring the opposition, threatening the bumps, being creative in the attack, using what abilities they have, which is really effective to have on the field because they're unpredictable. And that is the main thing. And as soon as Liquid weren't able to read even one, maybe two of those touches, that is when the chance opened up for Queso, and they took it with open arms.
I think if any game is going to go to Game 7 right now, this one seems very, very likely. These two teams seem so well matched up. Playstyle-wise, mechanically-wise, these two teams just feel very, very even.
Will be a Chronic. Over to Eitao, fantastic first touch to bring under control. Can he get the second? It's not the best. He goes for the bump though, almost finds it. Oski rotating out from the defense. Chronic is beaten. Oski made the right call in the end to play the passive move. Will be Rise. Gets one touch, gets the second as well. Is blocked away by Oski. Oski, fantastic speed and recovery. Maybe a Chronic can latch onto this as well. It's awkward for Joyo. It's placed underneath. Oh, Rise! Fantastic mechanics. Brilliant speed to make that save.
But it's not done just yet. There comes Team Liquid once again. Rise has the control here. The demo pump attempt is looked for, but not found as this ball pushes itself back onto the blue side. It's Oski hitting it high, trying to get another touch, but Rise won't allow him. Can he get a touch? No, zero boost. That's going to be very, very hard. That's now Vatira has the control, trying to bring it back into the orange side, trying to bring it back into the midfield. But it's once again Team Liquid transitioning over to the offense. It's back onto the backboard. Shot is there from a Chronic.
Oh, what a pass
attempt, actually. And that is something I did not even expect to see. I expected a Chronic to go for that backward hit, go for the solo attempt, but no, they're looking for those passes in those types of situations.
Wow.
And Eitao finds the bottom corner.
Oh, that is what I mean by unpredictability. I was saying Queso were the ones doing the majority of that, but Team Liquid showing us that they can do it too. I think that pass from a Chronic was the thing that opened up the space, that gave the chance in the end for Liquid to score, because it confused Queso. Queso all prepared for the shot coming on through, because they were terrified of it actually being on target, because they knew the shot was open. They know the shooting accuracy that a Chronic can bring, but as soon as the pass was made, immediately all the rotational work that Queso had put in to prepare themselves for the shot had gone down the drain. And maybe this one's going to go down it too. Saved by Vatira on the goal line. Team Queso just holding on to that 1-0 deficit.
It almost scares me how much trust Team Liquid already has in each other as they save it right on there. Vatira trying his best, can't get it. And this is a wonderful drop down. Too bad the defense saw it coming. But the amount of trust in Team Liquid, of course, from Team Queso, we expect it. We expect a team that has been together for this long already to trust each other fully. But for Team Liquid, it seems they have almost a similar level of trust already.
Exactly, and it's all because the players are young. They're still happy to learn. They haven't got to the point yet of where they're just going to turn around and just be like, look, I'm a proven player. I don't need to do anything to move around you. They're able to adapt because they don't have that mentality yet. And it's good to see that hopefully they will never have that mentality. That is what stops a lot of players. Oh my word, no way is that going to go through. Just about reacted to. Atao now looking for the next shot. And my word, if Liquid had scored that goal, I would have said this game 3 would have been over already.
You cannot count out Team Queso so easily. Yes, they may go down 2-0, but they would not give up, and they would be fighting it back as this one drops in front of the net, but it doesn't go in.
Oh!
This one from Husky, not allowing the goal from Team Queso, still blocking them off as Rise brings it in front once again, but Tira not quick enough and can't get a second touch himself.
The goal line defense from Team Liquid just looks unbreakable at this point in Game 3. Team Queso, though, do know how to find the gaps. They know how to open it up. Maybe just constantly smashing that ball at the net could be the answer to stop things from being so solid in the back line. However, another goal would also make that defense a little bit harder to break. Maybe Atao could be the one to prove it here. With a chance for Akroniki to come in. That was a weird mashup of different Liquid names. But either way,